Star Trek, Lower Decks' number 1 gets the promotion TNG never gave Riker. Star Trek, Lower Decks just promoted its first officer to captain, something Star Trek, The Next Generation never did for Commander William Riker, Jonathan Frakes. As Star Trek, Lower Decks' 5th and final season comes to a close on Paramount+, the USS Cerritos gets the chance to save the entire universe. Captain Carol Freeman, Don Lewis, and her crew admirably rise to the occasion, stabilizing a wormhole to alternate Star Trek timelines. The wormhole becomes a permanently open gateway to the multiverse with Starbase 80 stationed at the rift's entrance. With Starbase 80 now serving as the base of operations for the exploration of other quantum realities, Starfleet puts Captain Freeman in charge of supervising these missions. She and her husband, Admiral Alonzo Freeman, Phil Lamar, move on to the station, and Starfleet promotes Commander Jack Ransom, Jerry O'Connell, giving Freeman's number 1 command of the Cerritos. Commander Riker, however, never got to be captain of the Enterprise and was not even promoted until several years after the end of Star Trek, The Next Generation. Star Trek, Lower Decks' Commander Ransom becomes captain the way Riker never did on TNG. Throughout Star Trek, Lower Decks' 5 seasons, Commander Jack Ransom has grown into a Starfleet officer worthy of being captain. While Ransom felt more like a caricature and a Commander Riker spoof in earlier seasons of Lower Decks, the show has taken time to flesh out his character, especially in Star Trek, Lower Decks Season 5. Ransom has proved himself to be a strong leader capable of encouraging his officers to work together. He may sometimes accomplish this in unique ways, but he adapts to the officers at his command and uses strategies he knows will work for them. It's unknown exactly when Ransom became first officer of the Cerritos, but it only took him 5 seasons of Star Trek, Lower Decks to make it to captain. Riker, on the other hand, spent 7 seasons of TNG and 4 films as first officer, a total combined 15 years, and will still never become captain of the Enterprise. Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, held on to his command as long as possible, while Captain Freeman chose to move on. As a California-class ship, the Cerritos may not get the galaxy-saving missions usually reserved for ships like the Enterprise, but its crew is just as much as family. With his adventurous and flirtatious personality, Commander Ransom has a lot in common with Commander Riker, but he got his promotion far quicker than the USS Enterprise D's first officer did. Riker was obviously a skilled number 1, and he was offered numerous opportunities to command ships other than the Enterprise. Riker turned down every offer he received on Star Trek, The Next Generation, choosing instead to remain on the Enterprise under the command of Captain Picard. As Starfleet's flagship, the Enterprise was particularly special, and Riker did not want to be in command of any other ship. Commander Riker got to sit in the captain's chair a few times on Star Trek, The Next Generation, but will never officially took over as the Enterprise D's permanent captain. Even at the end of the series, the first TNG film was already being written, meaning Picard had to remain captain. Riker finally accepted a promotion in Star Trek, Nemesis, taking over command of the USS Titan, while Picard remained in command of the Enterprise. Unlike TNG Star Trek, Lower Decks ended with a new captain in charge of the Cerritos. Star Trek, Lower Decks, the animated and often zany offshoot of the Star Trek franchise, has won over audiences with its light-hearted yet loving portrayal of life aboard a starship. It may be comedic, but the show has also provided some meaningful developments and moments of character growth for the Star Trek universe. One of the most significant has been the promotion of Commander William T. Riker, a character who fans have long adored since his introduction in Star Trek, The Next Generation, TNG. In Lower Decks, Riker finally gets the promotion that TNG never fully delivered on. In TNG, Riker was introduced as the first officer of the USS Enterprise D, serving under Captain Jean-Luc Picard. For 7 seasons and 4 movies, Riker proved to be a loyal, capable, and charismatic officer, a leader in his own right, but always content to serve as number 1. One of the recurring elements in TNG was the idea that Riker could have his own command if he wanted it. Offers came and went, but Riker remained steadfast in his commitment to the Enterprise and Picard. The idea of him eventually becoming a starship captain, and not just the second in command, loomed large for much of his character arc. The notion of Riker refusing promotions became almost a running joke within the Star Trek fandom. He was offered his own command several times, notably in the episodes The Icarus Factor and The Best of Both Worlds. Each time, he turned them down, preferring to remain aboard the Enterprise. Riker's reasoning was often depicted as complex: his loyalty to Picard, his desire to learn from the best, and the fact that he felt a deep connection to the crew. There was also a sense that Riker, despite his ambitions, wasn't quite ready to let go of the mentorship and camaraderie he found under Picard. However, after TNG wrapped up its 7-season run, the 4 subsequent films failed to fully explore Riker's evolution into a starship captain. By the time Star Trek Nemesis arrived in 2002, Riker finally received his promotion and command of the USS Titan, but this happened off-screen, leaving fans yearning to see Riker fully step into the captain's role. While Star Trek Nemesis offered a glimpse of Riker's future, it didn't give him the time and space to fully shine as a captain. That's where Star Trek Lower Decks comes in. In this animated series, which takes place after the events of Star Trek Nemesis, Riker is now the captain of the USS Titan, a ship specializing in the more daring and adventurous missions within Starfleet. This promotion finally pays off years of build-up, giving fans what TNG couldn't: a chance to see Riker fully embrace the responsibilities of being a captain. The Titan's appearance in Lower Decks not only provides closure for Riker's story, but also presents him as a natural, even fun-loving leader who hasn't lost his adventurous spirit. Lower Decks gives Riker room to shine in a way that the films never did. In several episodes, including no small parts, Riker's portrayal as captain of the Titan adds a new layer to his character. While still the same charming and confident Riker from his Enterprise days, there's an added sense of maturity, experience, and decisiveness that shows how far he's come. He's no longer the man standing in someone else's shadow. He's running the show now, with his own ship and crew to command. What's refreshing about Lower Decks is how it balances the reverence for Riker's legacy with the series' signature humor. The show portrays Riker as a captain who, while capable and authoritative, has not lost the fun side of his personality. He's enthusiastic, even cheeky, as he commands the Titan, throwing out lines like "Red Alert," "Shields up, baby," and enjoying the thrill of exploration and danger. This version of Riker is exactly what fans have been hoping to see: a leader who takes his duties seriously, but is also unafraid to enjoy the ride. In many ways, Lower Decks completes Riker's arc from TNG. He's no longer the ambitious first officer hesitating between loyalty and opportunity. Instead, Riker is fully realized as the captain he was always meant to be. The promotion that fans have been waiting for finally feels earned, and his appearances in Lower Decks cement his place in Star Trek history. This Riker isn't merely the second in command anymore, he's the one calling the shots, and it's a joy to watch. What Star Trek Lower Decks does for Riker is emblematic of what the series does for Star Trek as a whole. It revisits beloved characters, settings, and themes with a fresh perspective, while still respecting the legacy of the franchise. Riker's promotion to captain of the Titan feels like a natural evolution, and Lower Decks gives him the spotlight he deserves. Fans of TNG who long to see Riker step up as a captain can finally feel satisfied, knowing that number 1 is now a full-fledged captain in his own right. In the end, Lower Decks doesn't just give Riker the promotion that TNG never quite delivered, it gives fans a chance to see a beloved character come into his own in a way that's both meaningful and fun. Riker, the promotion that TNG never quite delivered, it gives fans a chance to see a beloved character come into his own in a way that's both meaningful and fun.